In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Oh, hold on a minute. Let me just get that off the screen. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning... Oh, there you go. Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and the podcast. Where's the banner telling us what's happening today? The doc's with us. I think maybe that's what the Good Morning Comrades greeting from T-Duck is all about. Good morning. Hola, bon dia. Tudo bem? How are you doing, T-Duck? Oh, and thank you very much to Brian as well, who joined the list of people supporting the show and the list that is immortalized each morning now in the credits. So thanks to each and every one of you. Oh, first medical question in. What do you think about statins? Very interesting. I think the perception of statins is changing, isn't it? A bit like margarine, perhaps, to which they were originally connected. No one eats margarine anymore, do they? And maybe one day soon nobody will be taking statins anymore, as the fortunes of that particular pharmaceutical intervention changes in the public perception. Anyway, where was I? Yes, thank you to each and every one of you who supports the show. And there is a list of acknowledgements. If you do support the show and you're not on there, and for some terrible reason I've neglected to include you there, you let me know, because it's very important that I shout from the rooftops virtually each morning a thank you to you. Very grateful to everybody who contributes to the show in some way. And of course, it especially helps to be able to feed my children as well. Look, and there's another way of supporting the show. You can become a member over on YouTube, which T-Duck did 18 months ago. Woohoo! Thank you very much to T-Duck. Much appreciated, and everything you do for the show. Wow, what a lovely gratitude fest this morning to start the show. At 7:40, Coach Turner was in. Oh, Astrid joining us soon. We're talking about renting here in Portugal. So on Ask or Say Anything About Portugal Wednesday Hump Day, we welcome your views as well about renting. But there will be there will be a Expats Portugal webinar tomorrow evening, step by step to rentals here in Portugal. Dream Team thereafter at 9. And introducing back to this morning, Claudio Martins from the UrHome team, who's joined Bobby O'Reilly over there at Herdade de Meia, and a whole inventory of other fabulous properties in Lisbon that Claudio may tell us about as well. So first time Claudio joining us on the screen a little bit later on in the show too. Bom dia, Gampas e feliz quarta a todos. We're off to have lunch with youngest son and family before bringing their 2 kids back for a sleepover. As you can imagine, Mrs. T is excited. You're not, Coach Turner. Your God's got it of the day. Continuing the discussion on these. She's got 3 kids to look after. The movement that troubles them most is twisting. No, I didn't think about that, that twisting would be the most trouble. I would have thought getting out of bed and walking down the stairs might be. Anyway, enough of my problems. Those people that have played a lot of sports that require sudden changes of direction suffer. Okay, that's why it's not an issue for me. Because I never did that, especially when they're young. It's why, as a coach, I'm very mindful of what training I give youngsters to do. Until all the joints are fully developed, it's easy to damage them through overtraining. Some people looked up at joints there. Now we're older, it's still important, more mature, to take care when doing exercises to avoid excessive twisting. So don't be doing what you did last summer. So when doing squats, make sure your feet are in line with your thighs. This had never occurred to me, the twisting thing. I just thought it was the bending that was the problem, not the twisting. So if you do have your feet in line with your thighs, that way, says the coach, the twisting force on your knees is minimized allowing the benefits of the exercise without significant risk of damage. Nobody wants that first thing in the morning or any time of the day. Just a final point, and one more thing. If you're swimming, try to avoid breaststroke, as that twists the knees. Well, amazing. All this new twisting info. I speak from experience and wanted to add the word breaststroke for Carl's benefit. Who doesn't like a breaststroke? Especially first thing in the morning. Thank you very much for thinking of me there, Coach. Bom dia, campus. Feliz a todos. Como va todos? Good to see you. And nice to see you last night, James, as well, on the online social. Andy, this might be for you. I'll see you in a moment. Bon dia, alegria, comrades. Yes. It's like he used to do to, talking of knees, it's like he used to do to people's knees. Just a little tap on the knee to test the reflexes. We've just tested Andy's reflexes and everything is in order, T-Duck. What is it with the knees? I've recently stopped doing parts of the Qigong workout because of how it feels on my knees. Oh, maybe you need to talk to your Sifu about that. Now that's I'm a little sad to hear that. And I suspect there is a Tai Chi or Qigong exercise that helps to strengthen the knees rather than put added pressure onto them. Sarah, how long have you been doing Qigong? Bom dia, Portugal, from João Ernesto de Lima. Not the North, but de Lima, getting more geographically specific by the day. Perhaps it'll be his village next. Bon dia, Carl and Gumbers, from a decent morning in Belfast. Hi, Deagle. It's a dry 14 and will be a stunning 18. Steady on there. And off to hospital, planned appointment with Minister of Home Affairs. Lots of love to you both. And a not so deep thought. I thought Astrid would be joining us this morning. I'll tell you myself about the rental webinar that's coming up tomorrow evening. So just in case you didn't get the memo, I'll tell you about that myself and about the webinar that's coming up tomorrow night before we go speak to the doc. Well, that's if. Oh, it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to be on the Expats Portugal calendar anymore. I'll tell you what. I'll put the link to Expats Portugal, and if you want to check out that event and find out the specifics, you can do that. No, it doesn't seem to be on there. I'll have to send me another memo through to Expats Portugal to report the fact that their events page is down at the moment. So maybe that's what Astrid's dealing with, an outage on the website. But suffice to say, if you join us at 7:30 tomorrow evening, and you do need to register beforehand, you'll be able to find out all about renting here in Portugal, which may be useful to you. Not so deep thoughts then. The latest in a series isn't having a smoking section in a restaurant the same as having a peeing section in a swimming pool. Not really, because I think people pee anywhere in the pool, Joao Ernesto. And when it comes to swimming, when it comes to smoking, then they're not even inside the restaurant anymore, are they? They are outside. Often in Portugal, I noticed by the door. And that's not just in the restaurant, that's in the petrol station. Actually, no, to be fair, in a petrol station in Portugal, they don't smoke by the door. They smoke very near the petrol pumps, often, with a beer in hand, with mates, watching a bit of football. Fantastic. Relax, calma, tranquilo. Okay, he's ready. So let's give him a nice big round of applause and find out what's going on in Warsaw. Here he is. Right there, Bob. How are you?
Bom dia, Gumpers.
Best Peaky Blinder accents this morning. You're back in Blighty in the delightful city town of Walsall.
Right? Indeed, yes. Home of the Saddlers.
Saddlers?
Yeah.
Okay, what? So a little bit of the old equestrian saddlery is the specialty.
It was a leather centre, Walsall.
Was it
that
really?
was one of its major industries, yeah. Before the, even after the arrival of the industrial age, but it was one of its historical.
So is it Birmingham or is it Black Country?
Oh, it's Black Country, mate.
Black Country, right? Okay, and known because of the grime. Yes, Boston. So the heart of industrial Britain, you might say, or one of its many hearts, I guess.
The heart, absolutely.
Right. And how is Blighty? How is His Majesty's United Kingdom, Andy? How is it to be there?
Grey, cold, wet, and expensive.
Right. They don't put that on the tourist brochures. I think they put Tower Bridge and other exciting things to do for some reason. Okay, yeah. So you're having a great time.
Yeah. I mean, last week, yes. So the reason for coming back on or before the day I came back was my parents' diamond wedding anniversary last week.
Oh, congratulations to them.
Thank you. I shall pass those
Please
greetings
do,
on,
please
which will be valued much more than those of His and Her Majesty, the King and Queen, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. What are their names, Andy?
Pat and Brian.
Pat and Brian. So congratulations to you. Fantastic. Diamond is
60.
Which one? 60 years of marriage. What's their secret, would you say?
Tolerance and long suffering. No, I mean, you know, they have a great relationship. It's been very productive in terms of both children and
clearly,
and good impact on those around them.
How lovely!
And yeah, every relationship has ups and downs, but they're wonderful. You know, and if they weren't my parents, I would say the same thing. Many others who weren't their children did say the same things.
Yes, but 60 years, going to be some ups and downs in 60 years, and that's an incredible achievement, isn't it, in this day and age? But they got an early start 60 years ago, didn't they? Which some of us will never catch up on now.
And my dad's 90 this year, so
really? Wow.
Yeah, they're doing well.
Well, so he got married. He got married quite when he was quite old.
Yeah, relatively speaking, my mum was 23 and he was 30. So
wow, and I bet there's some lovely photographs that you would have seen from that time as well. Fabulous. Well, congratulations to them. 60 years, fantastic.
That was the reason for coming back here, and then the reason for staying as long as we are is because Alicia is to be settled in university on the 14th of September, and then on the 15th we will be racing across the Channel and northern France to get home.
Oh, that sounds like it sounds like you're ready, or you will be by then anyway to come back.
I was ready from the day I stepped off the boat at Portsmouth, and it was grey and wet
and expensive. Well, maybe that'll be the news, the new Pathé News, commercial for Britain. Cut to black and white, slightly grainy quality to it. Come to grey, cold, and expensive Britain and have a fabulous time.
and queue to get in at the border control.
Do we need to start a GoFundMe for you so that you can afford to live over there?
No, thanks.
No, I mean just to survive the rest of your trip.
Give us some examples. 3 weeks.
Yeah, can you give us some examples then of the relative cost of living and what you enjoy so much about Portugal? So let's start with a coffee. What coffee do you normally have in Portugal, and what does it cost you?
Well, I normally have an abatonado, which costs me anything from 60 cents to €1.
Excellent. So you've become accustomed to that. The abatonado, of course, will be like an Americano.
It's like an Americano, yeah.
And then when you wander into an establishment in the UK and ask for an Americano, which will be the nearest equivalent that they would understand, how much are they going to charge you for that?
£2.20, I think it was the last time I saw.
You're saying this through gritted teeth. I mean, it sounds like you're drinking Nescafe at home, mate.
It's horrible. Okay. Horrible.
Right.
And then bottle of wine. Leona picked up a bottle of wine. Do you remember Black Tower?
I do remember Black Tower. Okay. Is that like a pseudo-German type of wine?
Yeah. So she picked up a bottle of white Black Tower.
White Black Tower? Make your mind up.
White Black Tower, yeah. I didn't know they did that, but anyway, they do now. $8.99.
The shouting there, I think, underlines and illustrates the fact that Doc is feeling a little bit ripped off, basically, by paying $8.99 for. It's not the best wine in the business, is it?
No, and it wouldn't have been my choice. But as I'm restricted in my movement because I don't have my Ergo with me, I was in the car, and and to be fair, in Warsaw's shops, there wouldn't have been a great selection of quality wine either.
What is their preferred brew there in Walsall?
No idea.
Okay.
Don't know. Probably Mitchell's and Butlers.
Oh, well, like a pint of beer. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
come on to that in just a moment. So, okay, wine £8.99 for an okay bottle of wine. Back in Portugal, you're probably paying £2.99 and £5.99 if you want a really special evening.
Yeah, but if you look for the reduced slashes on the price tags in Portuguese supermarkets, then if you're paying anything more than €3, then
It sounds like you enjoy a reduced slash.
Absolutely,
Not
yes.
first thing in the morning.
In the peeing area of the swimming pool.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And a pint of beer then. Pint of beer over here. I saw somebody in central Portugal enjoying what looked like a pint, because you can't actually get a pint, but they said £2.20. Sometimes those are two, aren't they? If you go to somewhere doing a promotion. Yeah. Your pint of beer, you mentioned bitter there. How much would that be in England?
Well, I'm afraid I haven't been anywhere where I could get a pint of beer since we got back.
Okay.
But I hear reports of £3.50, £4 and upwards.
Wow. Okay. But that, I mean, why have you not? That would be the first thing I do. Should I return to Blighty? Will be to go to an old pub that smells of beer. Carpet smells of beer. The people smell of beer. Everything smells of beer. Not cigarettes anymore. Why have you not set foot into a pub?
Well, the main reason is we arrived on Friday. We had the celebration of my parents' diamond on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of unwinding. I was exhausted. I'd driven from Portugal as usual, and we left on Wednesday morning, arrived on Friday morning, so we did that rather quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to go into a pub where I can park close and one that I know. There is one which I had heard. I was very upset had closed, but apparently it's just reopening. So I'm hoping to go in there, and it always had a good pint of beer. So I might be able to have an updated beer report the next time I've.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Because I mean, I think it is a good and traditional thing to do when back in the UK.
Indeed, yeah.
I can smell that smell, and I don't mean it badly. It's something you kind of grow up with. And my parents had a pub for a while, and there's just something about the smell of British.
Oh yeah, I love the smell of beer soaked carpets.
You see, don't knock it. People all around the world are going, "Oh, that sounds disgusting," but really, when you grew up with it, when you've been face down on
it.
Yes, that's right.
It evokes your all sorts of things which probably shouldn't be related outside the pub in question.
Well, I'll tell you what, the smell of a Saturday night to me is a little bit of perfume, a fragrance of some kind. That smell of beer, stale beer, and cigarettes. That to me was like game on. This is something good is about to happen when you could smell that holy trinity up your hooter.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So good morning, Andy from Pete. Looking fantastic, mate. I think not being able to access all the booze, wine, and food so easily is maybe helping a little bit. It's maybe the new diet, the UK diet. Visit the UK and have your calorific intake reduced in an instant. We will have to catch up soon. I can cook you and Leona a meal entirely from the farm now. How about that? If you don't mind,
that's a lovely offer, Pete. I hope we can take up on that soon. I did see your post about your polytunnels and things. So yeah, fantastic. Bloody freezing, indeed, yes.
That's right. So what was it? Grey, cold, expensive, and bloody freezing. Scotland has bad roads, bad weather, but great people and smashing landscapes.
Yeah.
Of course, 2 litres of red wine, says Pete, with lemon was €1 with a lemon. What's that? It's a cocktail in central Portugal, isn't it? Was €1.29 and went down very well last night with our guests. Maybe they do a kind of tequila. That is a central Portugal tequila, isn't it? Pass the lemon, get a bit of suck on that, and then you have a swig of red wine at €1.20.
I'm a little concerned about it going down very well with his guests. I mean, how did he prepare his guests for the?
It must have been a Portuguese Chianti and fava beans straight from the farm that he's talking.
No, I was thinking there were. It was an interesting turn of phrase because it could almost be interpreted as report of cannibalism there.
Which we take a very dim view of on this show. We do not condone such behaviour. We could go into the. Well, you're a vegetarian anyway, Doc, so it wouldn't be of any interest.
I am indeed a nutter, Pete. All the best people are.
Why do you drive? Is it so you've got your own mobility? Should at any point during the journey?
So, if I fly, I cannot hire an adapted car. I don't think there's a single car hire outfit in the UK that does adapted cars. There is one in the Algarve.
Yeah.
So if I get there, I can't drive I can't hire an adapted car. When my Ogo's working, I can stick that on the back of the car very easily. So if I fly, I can fly with the Ogo, but it's difficult. But even then, I'm restricted to public transport routes. If I fly without the Ogo, I'm restricted to public transport and taxis.
Yes.
If I drive, 48 hours, 50 hours of pain, but a huge amount to gain. And the drive through Spain and France, even at that pace, is still very attractive.
I bet the wide open spaces of France is a fabulous country to drive through, isn't it? And visit as well occasionally. £4.94 is the average cost of a pint in the UK. Thank you, Colin. Ridiculous! Wow,
€6.
Right.
I went to buy a packet of cigarettes, right? And they weren't even king size. 20 Marlboro, $15.99.
You are kidding.
No.
A packet of cigarettes is now 15 British pounds. Nearly.
And they weren't even king size. They were the short ones.
Have they been brought back for austerity Britain, do you think?
I think it's someone's idea of health.
So is the direction of travel for cigarettes then to ultimately be just the one puff cigarette?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
If you were born before 19, whatever it is.
Oh, okay. So you have to show your ID, and children can only smoke the one puff cigarette from about.
Well, no one will be able to smoke anything eventually, because they still say they're going to bring this rising smoking age, aren't they? So anyone who is under 20 now will never be able to smoke or something.
Is that? I think they're relying on the numeracy levels as well in the UK. So people will be so confused about whether they're allowed to smoke or not that they'll just give up.
So can you imagine the numeracy of the police trying to enforce it? What year were you born in?
Move along. Move along before we bang you up. Working class as well. Get in the van. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Some serious medical questions coming up in just a moment after us. It's not funny, really, is it? Anyway. So you didn't feel like splashing out and paying £24 for 20 Marlboro at Gatwick Airport. That's £1, over £1 each. When I was a child, I would be able to buy a cigarette in a shop for 5 British pence.
Yeah,
and in school uniform as well, I hasten to add.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, me mum says, "Can I have one cigarette, please?"
They didn't even ask. The old lady in the shop at Clapham Junction, "Can I have a single?" You know, you go in and you want to be all cool. You say, "Can I have a single, please, love?" Yeah. And they get you. They must have broken open a packet of cigarettes at the back and rampant profiteering, selling you a cigarette for 5 pence. I'd be pleased. They'd be pleased. It was a win-win situation. Yeah. Happy time.
And spoiler alert, do not bother going into the duty-free shop on the Brittany ferries boats, because the cigarettes are still more expensive than they are in Portugal.
How does that work then? So the unit price, the basic price is very expensive, but you don't pay the duty on top of their exorbitant prices.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Excellent. So I think some people, those baby boomers and a little bit of Generation X, are still hypnotized by the word duty free, aren't they? So, duty free must be cheap. It's just not true anymore, is it? It's so not true. Right, okay. It is daft. Morning, Em. Telling someone they're old enough to pay council tax and bills but can't smoke. Yeah, dictatorship.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yes.
Completely.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you very much, Em, for that. Yeah, probably old enough to go and fight in a war, but not enough to smoke. Not old enough to smoke. You don't want them damaging their health with cigarettes on the front line.
No. They have to retain their fitness in order to create as much damage to everyone else's fitness as possible.
Quite right too. There's a place in government for you with thoughts like that. We did have 4 glasses of pina colada, so we're asking some health questions. Actually, that's not a health question. Would you recommend a pina colada straight from the ice cream maker? It does sound like a little bit of a lean into a healthy eating option there. Though.
It's part of my standard dietary advice.
A pina colada straight from the ice cream maker. I'm loving your new wild health advice this morning. And earlier on, T-Duck was asking what you thought about statins then. So ex-GP, you practice not a million miles away from where you are at the moment. What do you think about statins? Now, I think their fortunes have changed, haven't they? They were being prescribed gung-ho back in the day, weren't they? We were told margarine, should be eating margarine, shouldn't eat any butter, shouldn't eat any fat at all. Don't even walk near it. And take these statins as well. What do you reckon?
Well, I didn't jump on the bandwagon. I mean, I like any other GP, was performance managed on the number of relevant people we put on statins. But if people ask me if I would take them personally, I said no.
Yep.
When I was advised to take them, I refused. It just made no sense to me, really. I think the numbers that you had to prescribe to prevent one cardiac event were ridiculous.
Really? So to have any benefit, you needed to live to 300 to see any benefit from
something, or you had to. As a GP, you had to prescribe 300 patients with statins to see one saved cardiac event.
Yeah.
And there was an interesting study that showed that people taking statins tended to die more violent deaths.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm not claiming any causal. Inferring any causality on that, but there was an association with dying more violent deaths. So I decided it might be a good idea not to take them.
Incredible. A joke comes to mind. Forgive me on that note, but you know the fantastic. I can't believe it's not. Oh yeah, the margarine butter debate. I think that spawned quite a few great jokes. If not for margarine coming into the market, we would not have. We gave our nan some margarine because she wasn't feeling very well. Can't believe she's not better. And we put margarine on her back, and she went downhill fast. Sorry to laugh at it's not even my own joke.
Better.
Yeah. Morning, Carl and Andy from the Fat Baker, who we haven't seen for a little while. And well done, T-Duck. Solidarity breaking out on the screen here. I refuse to take statins as well. And of course, get your own advice on that. But it's interesting, isn't it, to stand against the general propaganda-driven flow of some things sometimes. So, and I think their fortunes generally are changing, aren't they, with the statins?
Yeah, hopefully, along with those of Big Pharma.
Well, and more to the point, I mean, it was all about because often, as we saw in the movie about the opioids in the US, you know, these marketing-driven campaigns from which people benefit a great deal financially, or some people do anyway, and others have their health impacted by the negative effect of it. But there's often a campaign that goes with it, isn't there, or like a soundbite, or some sort of proper military grade propaganda that goes with these campaigns. And it was all about cholesterol, wasn't it? It's like, you know, in your mind, when you think of statins, you might be able to recall adverts of fatty arteries and people terrifying you that, like, if you don't take statins, your arteries will be all clogged up with cholesterol. And then it moved on, didn't it, to like good and bad cholesterol. But what's, to address the point of why we were ever taking statins at all, James is onto something here, isn't he? Adjust your diet, less animal source foods, perhaps exercise more, and up your olive oil intake, which takes us on to another thing going on in health at the moment. And your thoughts on seed oils? I avoid them 100%. Now, RFK, dare we mention his name, seems to be coming into Trump's campaign based on health and exposing some of these things, or certainly shining a light on them. He's very anti-seed oil as well. And there's a bit of a thing about seed oils at the moment. As a vegetarian, you're going to be up against a seed oil intake, aren't you, Doc? What's your view on that?
That hasn't crossed my radar in terms of a recent debate, unfortunately. So
okay.
I have to go back and look at it. I certainly... so there are certain seed oils I would say take. I mean, so for example, linseed oil and black seed oil.
These have been seen as the good fats, haven't they, in the past? Because of the other things in them. There is a lack of fiber, of course, because it's refined and crushed to within an inch of its life. But it may have medicinal benefits that are the associated or collateral benefits. But I think the point T-Duck is making here is the refined nature of the seed oils is a problem. And of course, that's where margarine came from, wasn't it? That was a highly refined seed oil, wasn't it? Hydrogenated.
Well, it was, I'm not sure what the original fats were.
I think they were hydrogen-blown sunflower and rapeseed oils, weren't they?
Yes.
The idea of them just sounds awful. Even olive oil is highly processed. So when you're crushing seeds and vegetables, they remove the fiber, nutrients, minerals, and vitamins, leaving just pure fat. Which, forgive me, I mean that sounds as actually attractive to me as a beer-soaked pub carpet. Pure fat. If it's and the fat you eat is the fat you wear. A moment on the lips and a lifetime on the hips, perhaps. Another question coming in: what do you think about Portugal signing up to the WEF's one-size-fits-all vaccine passport, mandatory vaccine scheme rollout? Question mark. Has mandatory health been useful to all-cause mortality figures? From Feel Good Astrology, that's Mrs. M, of course. What do you have to say about that? Are you aware of this, Doc, that there are 4 European countries that are piloting a new vaccine passport, which I think comes to Portugal? Portugal is one of those countries in November, I believe it is.
Okay. This isn't the first time there have been mandatory vaccine passports. The intrepid and older travellers amongst us will remember the good old yellow fever passport that used
Happy times.
And they have their place. And actually, I think, given the outbreaks of some of the more exotic viruses out of sub-Saharan Africa, for example, which there's been yet another one discovered recently, and there are cases of West Nile fever in Western Europe and in America.
Hold on a minute, isn't that a nightclub in Walsall?
That too. That's West Saturday Night Fever, I think. But
Sorry, don't get my fevers mixed up here.
But so I'm not against mandatory vaccine passports, and of course it will help with the control of the spreading of disease. And why shouldn't countries be able to check that people coming in do not have or are protected against illnesses with serious public health outcomes? So
well, I take your point, absolutely, and we kind of grew up with that, didn't we? That was how it worked. And I remember going to India about 15 years ago, and actually when I went to the Far East as a teenager, part of going abroad was having jabs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was synonymous. It, like, you know, duty free, jabs, and going abroad. And I remember 15 years ago, I went to India. No one asked me. There was nothing. I think it was advisory, which I personally approve of, but it wasn't mandatory. But this is a whole new level, isn't it? To have a passport for daily life within the country does take it to a new level. And we've got a new Facebook group, which is about Portuguese news, the GMPTV news and information. And we have been following this particular this news article that emerged in the Portugal resident and in other communities that are particularly interested in this idea. And already the records are there already, aren't they? As part of your Portuguese health record, you are alerted. If you're on any kind of vaccine schedule here in Portugal, you'll be alerted by SNS or told by your family doctor. So that's why I think some people are thinking, hold on a minute, well, this is pushing it a little bit too far. And we, so it's not just going to an exotic country with an outbreak of an exotic disease, as you put it. It's like, it's back to the COVID days, isn't it? Of like, you can't come in this place if you can't show your medical records, which is, I personally resent that. And I prefer, as T-Duck's saying here, my body, my choice with this. But it is interesting. I mean, so presumably, in theory, you're not against it, but to take it to that daily domestic.
It depends on how much it's designed to control everyday life.
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously, sorry, let me just read that.
I believe that the idea is leading to the World Economic Forum having authority to forcibly vaccinate.
Well, obviously, I'm not in favour of that. WEF standing for World Economic Forum.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. Does this come from the WEF or does it come from the WHO?
I think both, as it turns out. Yes, they do seem to work together, according to some accounts about this. And Emma adding as well, showing what you have is one thing, being controlled is another. And I would make the point that it's fun. It's interesting, isn't it? With for example, when we're talking about smoking, you can go to war, but you can't smoke. You can't vote, and so there is a sort of a relativity about certain things, and it does seem a misplaced relativity that you carry a vaccine passport when there are so many. If it was really about health, there are so many other things people might check up on, mightn't they? They might say, well, you can't come in this McDonald's if you're obese. That might be a more effective health intervention if we are going to go for that. Totalitarian.
I prefer just to ban McDonald's, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, there are other things you might choose other than this if you were truly serious about health. Anyway, one moment, please. Astrid's going to join us on the screen. Just tell us quickly about the Expats Portugal webinar tomorrow evening. Let's give her a nice big round of applause. Morning, Astrid.
Good morning.
How are you doing there? I'm very well, and I tried to go to the website to take a look at what we're talking about tomorrow night. And is the events page down over there?
It was just the plugin needed to be updated, so I've done that, and it's all working fine now.
Doc could have probably helped with that. Did you ever update people's plugins, Doc, when you were a GP?
Not as a GP.
Just give it a wipe.
I have updated plugins when I had a number of websites, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so tomorrow evening then, Astrid, we are looking at renting, which is a hot topic for people wanting to move to Portugal. Who's taking us through that?
This is Carolina from Casa Portuguesa.
Excellent. Carolina. Yes, it is. Yeah, it'll be Carolina.
Could be one of the other ladies there.
Okay, very good. Well, we're in the safe hands of Casa Portuguesa.
It's Casa Portuguesa, so they know their stuff, so they'll definitely be able to help.
Okay, wonderful. And that'll be just a basic guide to renting here in Portugal.
Yeah, so the location, like whether you want to do the city or the countryside or rurally beachside. So we'll talk about some locations, the property and the property lease. So what to look out for and what you need if you are using the lease as part of your visa application, or if you're already living here in Portugal, not to know about the lease and the details that are there, because majority of them are going to be in Portuguese with words that we might not be familiar with. So it's really important to understand what the lease is, and the budget considerations too. So what to be some places ask for guarantors, some people want rent in advance, some people want up to 12 months rent in advance. So what is the right and the wrong way of doing it and renting in Portugal.
Very good. Thank you for that. Dream team thereafter at 9. And any other news from Expats Portugal this week?
We have a new mortgage broker who's joining our team. His name is Jeremy. So hopefully he'll make an appearance tomorrow night. But we've been looking high and low and think we found the right one, because Mortgage Direct, as we know, have left the Portuguese market, so they're not servicing anything here. So it took us some time to find someone else, but I think we've got the right fit. So
okay. And on that note, Astrid, Mortgage Direct not operating in Portugal anymore, that doesn't change anybody's mortgage arrangements. They are only a broker, and I think they made a financial decision based on their own business model to not be operating. Nothing to be worried about with Mortgage Direct.
No. In fact, the story is that they got bought out by a larger company, so they had additional funds to be able to put into the company, but they decided that they didn't want to continue the Portuguese market. They're focusing on Spain, so they're still alive and well and kicking and
very rich. By the sound of it, drinking pina coladas straight from the ice cream maker, no doubt. Very, very good. And smoking cigars. Wonderful. Cheers, Astrid. I shall see you tomorrow evening in that case.
Yes,
how is it still nice and warm in the Alentejo?
It's much more pleasant now. Let's put it that way.
Good. Okay,
yes.
We go in. The mornings getting darker, aren't they? We are moving into the fall, but we might have a nice late San Martino style summer here in Portugal. Cheers, Astrid. See you tomorrow evening.
You. Okay.
Bye. And we've got Claudio Martins joining us from the UrHome team, and he might tell us a thing or two about some beautiful Dynasty Homes properties in Lisbon as well. He's getting really limbering up behind the scenes. Bobby might be hanging about over that way too. Doc, before you go then, we were just talking about renting there, and that's the webinar for tomorrow night, Key Steps for Renting here in Portugal. And when I talked to Carolina, she does mention Leiria. It does seem to be more and more on the map. That's where you live, of course. What would you say about putting forward Leiria as a destination for rentals?
Yeah, I mean, we've rented since we got here in the same apartment in Leiria. That's over 4 years now,
right.
And it's a great place. Not very big, 80,000 people in the city limits, and I think 120,000 covered by the camera overall. But, with its own international football stadium, 2 theatres, 2 multiplex cinemas, a big shopping mall, umpteen little ones, as you get in every city in Portugal, a historic Jewish quarter, a beautiful castle, a lovely river.
It's got the lot. It's got the lot.
30 minutes from the sea, 20 minutes from the mountains.
Very good. And the food court at the forum is having a makeover, isn't it, as well? It's coming from the 90s into the present day. Yeah, I guess it might not be your cup of tea there.
I don't often go there. I tend to sit in the car while the ladies go and shop.
So manly of you. Okay, so just last few comments then before we go to Claudio. Rights are something we have regardless. No one or government should be taking our rights away, says M there. Showing... you have is one thing, being controlled is another.
Yeah, I would just say that, and I'm generally in alongside you with that, but I would just say that when people run private establishments, it is kind of up to them whether they let you in.
I agree. Absolutely agree. It's like YouTube, isn't it? When people moan about not having their videos on, it's a business and they make their own decisions about what they'll allow. Yeah.
And if we run a market system, and while we run a market system, market will decide. If people decide they want to patronize establishments with those rules, they will do so. And if they decide they want to boycott them, they will do so.
But what we didn't see with that in the last couple of years was like a private business being able to say unvaccinated welcome here, because if it's true, then that's what we should do as well, right? It's like, well, for those people who didn't want to do X, Y, or Z, this is the bar for them. And what an exciting world that would be.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Just last comments. And the 2 times I was hospitalized was after taking travel vaccines recommended.
That's very unfortunate. I've had numerous travel vaccines with no problem, and I've been in hospital a number of times. Nothing vaccine related. So, there you go.
Well, we can't possibly leave on that note, can we, Doc? Let capitalism decide.
No, what I'm saying is, if you decide by inactivity to go along with and live in the capitalist society, then you mustn't complain. When their values supersede yours. The alternative is get out on the streets, as I say many times.
There we go, the rousing call from the Doc to finish our session. Lovely talking to you. Have a lovely time in Blighty. Lots of love. Despite all we said, lots of love to the cold, expensive, grey, and whatever else it was, tourist review that you gave of the UK. Lots of love to everybody there. Cheers, Doc. Take care and bye for now. Ciao, ciao. All right, there he goes. A quick fisting before leaving the screen. And let's keep that applause going. And welcome Claudio Martin on the screen. If it couldn't get any more exciting.
Hello, Carl.
How are you doing?
How are you? I'm good, and you?
I'm doing really well. We've had a fascinating morning already this morning. And,
amazing.
You and I haven't met yet. I know Bobby well, obviously, and know Haddad de Mayo and Dennis.
We didn't meet on Bobby's party.
I wasn't there. You must have had a few drinks there, Claudio. I didn't.
No, actually, I don't drink.
Do you know? Oh, I'm so sorry. Isn't it awful when people accuse you of drinking and you don't actually drink? So
actually, that's a bad start to our relationship. It's something that I stopped doing like 1 year ago when I started because I'm training for a marathon and I stopped drinking.
Yes.
And now I see that drinking doesn't give any kind of benefits. So yeah.
Wow. I gave up the booze for a year. Funny, because we just had ex-GP Andy the Doc Thompson on, who does like a drink, as I recall. But this is a health choice I think increasing numbers of people are making, especially.
Yeah, it was definitely a health choice. Just for you to see, I used to have cabinets with scotch. I used to love to drink scotch. I used to have like a collection of wine bottles. And when I decided to stop drink, I give it all to my friends. I had gins, I have everything. I have all the setups to mix gins. I have a lot of things regarding to drinking, like setups for bars and so after doing cocktails, and I just give everything away.
So your life has really changed. I mean, because when and when you enjoy drink, it can be quite a big part of your life, can't it?
Yeah, just for you to see, my life changed a lot in the last year. I lost around 30 kilos already in the last year.
Wow.
So it was really a health choice.
Yes. Wow, that's incredible. And your marathon, where are you doing that?
It's on Lisbon. It's in 5 weeks.
Incredible. So will you get to run across the bridge? Is it the big Lisbon Marathon?
No. So on that day, we have 3 races. We have the marathon that starts on Cascais and run the marginal all the way to Lisbon and ends up in Praça do Comércio. Then you have the half marathon that starts in Montijo and cross the Vasco da Gama bridge. And then you have the 8 kilometers that I don't know the route.
Wow, incredible. So you're going to be running across the iconic Vasco da Gama bridge?
No, I'm going to run from Cascais to Lisbon. So all the way from the marginal there. Yeah.
Right. So, sorry, you did mention the Vasco da Gama bridge as well, though, right?
Yeah. It's for the half marathon.
Oh, I see. Right. How wonderful. Amazing. What a lovely place to be running. Fabulous. Well, quite the change for you then. And are you a triathlete as well? Will you be doing an Ironman at some point too?
Yes, that's the plan for next year in October, doing the Ironman 7.3 in Cascais.
Wow. Okay. That's wonderful. So congratulations on that choice and good luck with the race there. You're here this morning to talk about joining the UrHome team. How's that going?
Yeah. So it's been amazing. The team, it's awesome. And you can really see the passion that everyone has for our projects and for the future that we can bring to Portugal.
Fantastic. And how's it looking at Herdade Meia? Maybe we'll talk some more about some of the other properties that you're taking care of, because
Okay, so Herdade Meia.
Sorry, go on. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. So basically, Herdade Meia is a very nice project that we are building here. Gives a lot of sense of community. Not only the houses that we are planning to build, the finishings that we are putting in the house, but the community sense with the paddle courts and everything else that we have. It's really to bring the community together, not like a gated community like we see a lot. So I think he's going to bring a lot of positives to Forros da Mora.
Yeah, very good, very good. And we're rolling a video there. We seem to have lost your video. You've frozen on the screen, but we can hear you.
Yeah, because I think it's the internet here on the stand on our showroom is not very good. So the camera probably, my camera is frozen. Yeah.
Okay, no, not a problem. Okay, and I'm rolling the VT so people can see what's going on at Herdade Meia. Presumably, lots of development there and things changing behind you there at the marketing office.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to be here every day and see the growth that Herdade Meia is having. Is very beautiful to see and witness every day, seeing more and more houses being built. Go also have the chance to see the finishings, have a say in also the colors, and it's very interesting in a standpoint of watching a project grow from zero.
Amazing. Okay, it's lovely to be finding out more about you, Claudio. Although I can't see you anymore, let me just try and refresh your screen there. Do you want to refresh as well behind the scenes there and see if we can get your video?
Yeah, let me try to do here. 1 second.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put the Herdade Meia video back on, and we'll have Claudio join us again because I'm enjoying my conversation with him. And M saying to Claudio, congratulations on taking back your health and caring for your body. So let's bring him back. Yeah, there we go. We've got you back again now. That's much better. Fantastic. Right. So which part of Portugal are you from? Oh, he's frozen up again.
So I was born in Lisbon.
Right. Okay.
Right in the center of Lisbon. And I lived my whole life in Lisbon. So right now I'm living in the west coast in Mafra, near Ericeira.
Very nice.
And there is where I'm living right now.
Wonderful. So if it comes to sharing properties and opportunities in Lisbon, you're the man, having grown up there, which is amazing. How did you get into real estate?
So I started in sales. So basically my first job was in IT. I used to be a technician. I used to install networks, software and hardware. And I spent 1 year running across the country, installing and doing the rollout of the old system of payment on Galp. So I basically visit all country. Yeah, I visit all country, went to Madeira, Açores. I visit almost any municipal in Portugal, villages. Every day we were in a different spot, so allowed me to know people. And I had the very love about meeting new people, meeting new cultures, because even in Portugal, there are a lot of different cultures around. In center, Algarve, North, a lot of places are different. So I had that chance to know people, and I started to get a very good passion about connecting with people. So after a couple of years, that project ended. We started to get more a desk job, and I was not feeling happy because I used to be outside meeting new people every day. People always told me that I was a good communicator and I should try sales. So in 2014, I left my IT job. I started door-to-door selling. After a couple of years, I decided to try my luck in real estate. That was back in 2016. Fast forward to 2024, I'm here with almost 10 years experience in real estate. I know the market in Lisbon with the palm of my hands. I work at a prop tech company, a startup in Lisbon, where I was the first hire and helped that company settle in Lisbon. That is Clicalia. So I have a very deep understanding about construction, in terms of real estate. Not, of course, an engineer, an architect, but I know my way around the construction sites. I know how to do studied markets to help people analyze their investments. So I have a very good understanding and trying to connect real estate with also technology. So
Wow.
that's my little bit on background. I also have a major in business management.
Amazing. It's great to meet you this morning and find out more about you. And what an amazing set of skills to be joining the team there. A love of people, a love of being in sales, and now real estate. And in that time, and also what an incredible context, what an incredible time for you to be alive and in the industry. So in that time, you'll have seen Lisbon change quite a lot as well, I imagine, too. I think we're struggling a bit with our connection to the site.
Yeah. I started in 2016 when the prices started to increase a lot. For example, I remember that the first house that I sold in a specific area, I sold it for 135,000. And at that time, people were nuts because we were selling at a very high price. That same house today is worth 250. Yeah.
That's
In a very short amount of time, I see a huge increase in prices, a huge increase in demand also. But I think one of the best parts of working in real estate is because normally the biggest purchase that someone does in their life is definitely their house. So I already impacted so many lives, so many families in different stages of their development and life, new couples that have their dreams to start their family, have the house to watch their kids grow. Unfortunate situations like people passing away is a cost of life, and they need to size down in terms of houses. People that are coming for Portugal, for example, from America, from other countries that want to be on a safer place, if you can say that.
For sure.
I had a chance to meet a lot of different people, understanding why they want to buy a house. And normally, if you are not an investor and you are not looking the logical side of buying real estate purchase is always connected to something major in your life. So I think we as a real estate agency, we have a good understanding, and some ways we ended to be like a therapy for people to help them, guide them in this new phase of their life.
What a lovely way of seeing it. Yeah, absolutely. All of life is there, isn't it? And including all of human psychology. And I think am I right in thinking, as well as Herda de Mayo, you are looking after the general portfolio as well of
right now I'm more focused here on Herda de Mayo. I think is at the moment our little baby, if you can say that. Everyone is very focused on here, but we have other new developments that we are doing. As you can see on our website on Dynasty Homes, you can see our portfolio. We have amazing buildings in Lisbon that are very center. In Saldanha, for example, we have the Oasis. They are very, very good built construction. They have one big advantage, for example, that I see. They have garage. The first one, Oasis building. Yeah.
There we go.
They have garage right in the center of Lisbon, close to Saldanha. So you are in a very, very awesome location. You have public transportation nearby. You have every service that you might think that you need. You have it there. Then we also have a very nice project on Praça dos Restauradores Boulevard. That is also a very, very nice project. A location is very pristine. And we have a few upcoming projects. For example, this one, Tile Street 3 to 6. It's if you want to have a more cultural experience, the more traditional center living, you can have it here. Is like 5 minutes walk from Assembleia da República. It's located in a very historic place in Lisbon. I know this street very well because I used to study in conservatory. I used to go to the escola, like it's one of the best music schools here in Lisbon. I used to play the classic guitar.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You are a Renaissance man, so you can play the Portuguese classical guitar as well. Incredible.
And then that allowed me to know that area very well because the conservatory is right in the middle of Bairro Alto. And when I was like 10, 11 years, I was always running around with my guitar on my back to go to class after school.
So you live and breathe.
We have a very good. Yeah, completely. Yeah, I love Lisbon. The restaurants, the places is very, very nice. I normally also tend to run a lot in Lisbon, close by the river. Is amazing. We have nice restaurants. So I think we have a very, very good life in Lisbon. We have very nice properties there.
Yeah, and you're part of making that dream, that life in Lisbon come true for people, Claudio. It's been fantastic to meet you. We've run out of time this morning, and I hope you'll come back and maybe even play the guitar for us one morning.
Okay,
and I'm sure,
why not?
Do you know what, Bobby might bring his burn as well and play some drums in the background for you. That would be amazing. So good morning to you, Bobby. A couple of questions and observations for you as well. 4 months. T-Duck gave up drinking for 4 months. What a waste of 4 months. However, just kidding. It was refreshing to take a break. Now I only drink beer occasionally. Yeah, also got rid of all those gins and whiskies and so on, like Claudio was telling us before. And in Mafra, there's a really good sushi restaurant, says T-Duck as well. And a final question to you. We're all excited about Herdade de Mayo. I certainly am. When will the show home be ready so that people can come and see how they might live there?
So we plan to have the first houses for people to come and see in January. Yep. But right now we are open 7 days a week if you want, from 10 to 7, 10 to 5. You just need to call me and book on my calendar, and I can be there Saturday, Sunday, whenever you need. In our showroom, we have everything that you need to see every feature of the house. We have floors, we have tiles, we have ceramics, we have the backsplash, base doors, we have the doors, the aluminium profiles, we have the floor plans, we have 3D renders. So, of course, you cannot go and feel it yet, but everything that you need to have an understanding of the house, you can come, and I will be gladly to show you. Walk with you to the site. We already have houses that are almost closed with brick. You can walk around the house. You can feel the sizes. So we are open. You don't need to wait for January because you're not going to have any house available to sell in January. So if you want, come closer, and I will gladly to show you everything.
Or bring your tracksuit, and you can run around the site and do a bit
or
of
that also.
Claudio. Okay, bring your trainers and a hard hat. Okay, fantastic, Claudio. Muito prazer. Really good to meet you, and I look forward to welcoming you back onto the Good Morning Portugal show at some time in the future. All the best with working with the team there and in your marathons and triathlons that are upcoming.
Yeah, thank you very much, Carl.
Good to see you.
It was a pleasure.
Bye-bye. All right, bye for now. There he goes, live from the Herdade de Mayo site. And just by way of a finish this morning, we're talking to music there with Claudio and his ability to play. He can do everything, that guy, can't he? We have some music that we neglected to play on Monday. A little bit of music, less than a minute, but a little bit of a musical climax to the show this morning. And we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow, Thursday, Quinta. I'll have some more fun tomorrow morning. In the meantime, have a great day. Take care. And bye for now.